Hi Mortgage Heroes, this is Andy Cruz in Business Development, and this is your weekly video newsletter. This week, we're gonna talk about the changing tide, but before we do, make sure you hit that subscribe button, like this video, and hit that notification bell so that every time we drop a new video, you hear about it first. Well, let's jump right into this week's news. The first thing we're gonna talk about is actually an inflation number. Now, remember, we were talking a couple of weeks ago about inflation is happening. You're seeing the price of goods on the shelves change. On the consumer level, we're already seeing things become more expensive to us. Well, last Friday, the PCE number came out. That's the personal consumption expenditure number, and that is a measurement of the cost of goods and services that we pay for as consumers. Now, the Fed has been pushing the agenda of getting to a 2% inflation mark for quite some time. We know that that's been their outcome that they wanted, and boy did they get it. They got actually way more than they were hoping for. That PCE number that came in last week was 3.1%. That is definitely hotter and faster than what they were hoping for, and guess what? That's what we were talking about. We said it is likely to come in hotter and faster. Well, okay, Andy, what does that have to do with home prices, mortgage rates, and all that stuff? Well, here's what happens. Kind of where one thing becomes more expensive, other things tend to follow. So whether it's gas or milk and groceries or clothes, wherever you start seeing products and services get more expensive, it just trickles on down the line. When it comes to mortgages and it comes to real estate, here's what I think you should expect moving forward. This is a little bit of a bold prediction, but we're already starting to see a couple of signs here locally that we felt we needed to let you know about. The first thing is this: you see less houses coming onto the market. I think this is a function of two things. Number one, I think you have hesitant buyers that are starting to back out, thinking that, oh, well, the prices are getting so high that even though the cost of the money is low, I may not be able to still get into a market, or maybe I don't want to because I don't see this home is as valuable as what it might be sold for. That translation is happening in the minds of sellers or potential sellers too, because people that could be putting their house in the market could probably still get top dollar for it today, but there's less and less of these people doing that because they know that at the end of that transaction, they've got to go buy a replacement home. So unless they're moving out of the area completely, what seems to be happening is that our shortage of listing inventory is stemming from some of the psychology that exists by being a seller right now and that transaction closing and you becoming the buyer that is in the market right now bidding versus everybody else to try to get this low inventory home. Now, for a while, this has been keeping house prices high and equities really high, and for most people, historically high. Now, that's great news for those of you who have done a cash out refinance, you paid off some debt, or maybe you've sold and you've done a lateral move up, or maybe even a downgrade as far as the size of your home is concerned. But actually, for people who are a little bit skittish or hesitant about the market, they are not as confident now moving forward. Now, what this means is a couple of things. Number one, the less homes on the market right now is going to cause a continued problem for people that are looking to buy, that are actively making offers and trying to outbid one another. Number two, what follows that is once people decide that they may have missed the boat and they like knee-jerk reaction try to sell, but there's buyer reluctance, buyers become less willing to pay top dollar. You couple that with the increased cost of the mortgage to borrow, and now you have a cascading effect where the cost of borrowing the money to buy that house could be going up. At the same time, that buyer reluctance to pay the top dollars happening can naturally start flattening out, leveling off, or even bringing down local home prices. Now, this isn't saying that they're going into the ditch because they have ramped up and accelerated and appreciated so much over the last 18 months that even a slight correction or a return is not going to hurt the majority of homeowners in San Diego. But the reason I'm mentioning this is because, to my earlier point, as the goods and services increase in one area, they tend to increase in others. And we're going to expect to see the same thing when it comes to mortgage rates. You still have a lot of talking heads that are saying there's nowhere left for the Fed to go. They've already put themselves into a corner and that there's just no way we can ever see higher rates again. I understand that, and economically there's a lot of argument for that. At the same time, what you see happening is that the mortgage market, specifically the bond market, is reacting in a way where it's kind of hinting that it might be time to start to increase rates incrementally, very slowly, and in very small little bites. You couple that with the fact that the Fed is considering tapering off their bond buying, which means they're gonna put the marketplace back out onto its own, and they're not going to just prop it up as much anymore. Remember, that was supposed to continue through 2021. But now the conversation, and everyone's looking for them to talk about, are they going to start tapering, pulling back, or minimizing their monthly bond purchasing, which wasn't in the deck of cards for 2021. So if they end up doing that, that's an indication that we're gonna see higher rates down the road. It's just a function of supply and demand. Right now, there's so much supply coming from the Fed support and the endorsement in the bond buying program that supply is causing the demand to be there, but also the cost is low because there's a lot of it. But when the marketplace is back on its own, they're going to factor that into their risk assessment and go, oh, wait a minute, the Fed doesn't have our back. We're on our own again. Our risk exposure is even higher. We need to be charging more for the money we're lending out to the people. So I think that all these things coming together is going to create a change of circumstances in the next 3 months, 6 months, and 9 months ahead. If you couple that with a lot of unemployment issues that still have to be attended to in the jobs market, as well as you're looking at eviction moratoriums and mortgage foreclosure moratoriums that are expiring in June 30th, there is a lot of moving parts. And right now, we're already starting to see locally that the psychological effects matched with actual data and evidence in the marketplace are starting to slowly turn what we've been experiencing over the last couple of months. And this just rampage of buying and this rampage of appreciation. So here's what you can do. If you are a person who is watching this and you're looking to sell your home, it is best for you to talk to your realtor right now. If you don't have one, please DM us or contact us so we can find out what area you're in, what you're trying to accomplish, and we can best match you with somebody. If you are gonna plan on staying in your home and you have not yet done your refinance, we need to have that conversation right now. While home appreciation and home values are still at their peak for the time being, we need to maximize that opportunity to help you pay off debt, get into a lower interest rate, reduce the term of your loan from 30 to 15, do cash out, whatever it is you might need to accomplish to achieve your personal financial goals. And lastly, if you are a buyer in this market, do not quit. If you've already started the mortgage process, you're pre-approved, you're out shopping, you need to stay shopping while the cost of the money is still low. I understand the argument that we were talking about earlier regarding home prices, and that might change, but we don't know that it will change and when it will. Those are the unknowns. So if you're buying now and you are buying for the specific circumstances of increasing your lot size, your family size, your house, or you're laterally moving because you got to go from a two-story that's $800,000 to a single story that's $800,000, whatever the case may be, you have to stick to it. Stick to it and see it through. Okay, that was a lot of data this week. Any of you who are watching this that want to have a personal conversation about your specific scenario and what you need to do in this market, please reach out to us. You can talk to myself, you can talk to William, you can talk to Brian. All of us are available to talk about this within the context of how it affects you, your personal finances, and how you can win in real estate and mortgage in 2021. As always, please feel free to share this video with someone you work with, someone in your family, your friends or neighbors, someone who has been maybe hinting that they're having a problem in the marketplace. They want to sell, but they don't know if they should. They're looking to buy, but they keep getting outbid, or they don't know if they should refinance. Let us be a resource for those people in your life as well. And thank you so much for watching. Thank you for sharing, and we will see you again next week.